Guys, she's on BookTube now. How exciting. This has been such a long time in the making. I was gonna start it last December and I just didn't because I'm lazy. It was gonna happen, it didn't, now we're here. This is just so weird. I'm used to the older TikTok and Gram. This is a new experience for me and this is me in HD as well, so apologies. So for my first YouTube video, I really wanted to get you guys involved as well. So I thought that I would put a question box up on my Instagram. You guys sent in so many questions and there are some really, really good ones. So I'll try and get to as many as I can. And I thought we can talk about books, we can get to know each other, it'd be great. Like, do you know what? I don't actually know if I'm allowed to swear on here. We'll find out. We'll see how long this channel lasts. Let's get some questions all up in this bitch. Okay, so Chloe asked, what's your BookTube journey been like? For the most part, it's been really positive. I have met so many incredible people. I started this channel because a couple of years ago, I had to stop working because I suffer really bad migraines. And I was living out in the suburbs, traveling into Melbourne every day, and I just couldn't manage it anymore. So I stopped working. And I suppose I went into a little bit of a low. So I didn't really know what to do with myself. I was never really much of an avid reader. And then one of my friends started sending me all these BookTube videos because we were reading Katee. That was when I first started reading, right? My best friend was like, if you can't watch TV, if you can't work, if there's not really a whole lot that you can do, try this book, it will change your life. And it did, it changed my life. There I was at 29 years old, sitting on my couch wanting to bone a fairy. It happens to the best of us, doesn't it? So because I started putting out these TikTok videos, I started connecting with lots of different people all around Australia, but also all around the world. And it's just been the best. There have definitely been some times where I've thought about throwing the towel in. There's been some difficult times. I might touch on them a little bit later. I don't know. We'll see how we go. They're a bit personal, but for the most part, it's been incredible. Honestly, life-changing. What got you into reading smut? That same best friend. So my friend Steph, she gave me Katee and I was like, this is incredible. And then I started reading Neon Gods because I didn't really know what to read next, but I felt like I wanted to sort of stay in that fantasy type realm. Love Hades, love Persephone, love all that Greek mythology. So I picked up Neon Gods. Is it the best written book I've ever read? No, absolutely not. But tell you what, it did the trick. Kylie would like to know what my favorite romance series is. Let me get the books I'm going to show you. I've got a few different series that I absolutely love. Okay, so first up we've got the Ravenhood series by Kate Stewart. This is one of those series that I saw everywhere and for some reason it kind of made me not want to read it. I don't know why, I felt like it was a little bit oversaturated. And then I read Flock. Holy shit. It's like MFM. The characters are just... It's hot. It is hot. I listen to these on audiobook and they are just some of the best audiobooks I've ever listened to. This entire world, I love every single character. I love it. Oh, Tobias and his French baguette are welcome in my household any day. Then we've got the Highland series by Samantha Young. This is one series that I really don't see people talking about enough. I am obsessed with it. Obviously, it's set in the Scottish Highlands, but like everyone's just hot, Scottish, British, and rich. So enough said. I don't know. It's a great series. It's a really good series. And I feel like this series is such a good balance between plot and spice. And when you get to the spice, oh, Samantha did not come to play when it came to the spice in her books. I'll just say that much. There's a strong theme of spanking and I'm here for it. The Wolf Hotel series by Kate Tucker. Now, I only read this super recently. I read this in June. I read the entire series in a week. I was obsessed with it. Obsessed. It's a billionaire romance. There's a bit of an age gap. I think it's something like 10 years. It's just hot. It's sleek. It's sexy. Kate Tucker has written some of the best spicy scenes I have ever read. When you get to Surrender to Me, oh, it's good. Also got the Alchemy series by Elodie Hart. Super spicy, set in a sex club. Elodie Hart is so spicy, but her writing is so elegant. There's 5 books down at the moment. I've only got 4 of them, but they are so good. So if you want something really spice heavy, but really well written, this is it. Fuck, we could be here all day. The Chicago Ruthless series by Sadie Kincaid. It's a completed series. There's 4 books in total. I've only got 3 of them so far. I've read all of them. I read them completely out of order. They're interconnected standalones, but I was completely fine doing that. They were great. They're really great. Again, so spicy. You've got Dante, Joey, Lorenzo, and then Keres is the last one, but I don't have that one. Each book is about a different sibling in the family, and it's just, I don't know, it's hot. It did it for me. I loved it. And the last series I'm going to quickly talk about is written by Jennifer Hartmann. It's like a trilogy of interconnected standalones, so it's not necessarily a series, but it's all set in the same world, and there is definitely a crossover of characters. So the first book is Still Beating. So this is on the lighter side of dark romance. This is kind of where I point people who are looking to get into the genre, but they're not quite sure where to start. This is a brilliant place to start. The story follows a young woman who's kidnapped with her sister's fiance. They like hate each other, but the stuff they have to go through together, there's a lot of trauma bonding. And then it's kind of what happens after they get out of it. Read it and then come back to me. I promise it's good. The next one is Lotus. This is actually my favorite in the series. I love this so much just because the MMC is so beautiful. So the main character's name is Oliver Lynch. He was 8 years old when he was kidnapped on the 4th of July. He makes it out 22 years later. So he's re-entering society as a 30-year-old with no social intelligence. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. And then the last book is The Stars Are on Our Side. This one's probably my least favorite out of all three of them, but it was still a good read. Again, it's another woman who was kidnapped and she makes it out, and it's about her sort of navigating relationships after her trauma. So there you go. They're all bangers. Okay, next up. So Jessica wants to know, if you had your choice, Jake, Noah, or Caleb, have you guys read Credence? So Credence by Penelope Douglas. Let me get it. So this is the first book I ever read by Penelope Douglas, and it was quite an introduction. It's not necessarily a dark romance. This is taboo and a bit cooked and a little bit unhinged, and I'll tell you why. And I think a lot of people judge me for liking this book, and you know what? I get it. So the story follows a young woman. She loses both of her parents and then she goes to live in the mountains with her step uncle and her step cousins. Now they're snowed in for 6 months of the year during winter. So what do they do to keep themselves occupied? Yeah, each other. She does it with all three of them. And their names are Jake, Noah, and Caleb. And you know what? If I had my choice, I would go with Caleb as well. I think I would go with Caleb. And I think a lot of people are going to judge me for that answer now as well. I don't know why. It's a strong silent type. There's something about it. I don't know. I don't make the rules, I just follow them. Okay, Rach would like to know, what's my favorite book of all time? I'm gonna get 3 of them because I am having a really hard time picking between 3 of them. I like them all for different reasons, and I'll tell you why. Okay, so the first book I've got to choose from is To Catch a Firefly by Emily Sanders. Now this is an MM romance. It's set in a small town, Nebraska. They're childhood best friends to lovers. It is just the most romantic book I've ever read in my life. It's, the longing, the pining, the angst, the relationship. One of the MMCs is neurodivergent as well, so he has a really difficult time with speech. And his best friend Lucky he's the only person who gets him. Oh, and he just loves him so much. Oh, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. And the spice, it's pretty good too. Next up, I've got Say You Swear by Megan Brandy. Again, this is just one of those books that I read it in one sitting. I was hungover as fuck when I read this, but it's just stayed with me ever since. It is beautiful. It had me bawling my eyes out and crying because it's got the amnesia trope. There's a bit of a plot twist that happens in it. There's kind of a love triangle as well. It's friends to lovers. They're in college. I don't want to say any more without giving it away. Just trust me when I say it's really good. It's really good. I feel like this is #1 still. I don't know. See? I can't answer this question, it's too hard, so I have 3 of them. And lastly, this is super random. The Last Letter from Your Lover by Jojo Moyes, or as I like to call her, Yo-Yo Moyes. Jojo Moyes was kind of the first romance author that I started reading when I was like 21. I love spicy books. We all know that I'm a hoe for a spicy book, right? We know that, that's why we're here. There's just something about Jojo's writing. I don't know, there's something about this book that it's really stayed with me since I've read it. It's set in past and present tense, so you're following 2 different love stories. And it's like in the present tense, they discover these beautiful letters that were written to someone's lover. It's 2 people who should have been together that never really had their chance. There was a film adaptation, and I will just say, compared to the book, complete trash. Complete trash. Get in the bin. Nothing is as good as the book. Nothing. If you're feeling brave enough to read a book without any spice, I encourage you to read this. What else have we got in here? What is your favorite effed up trope? Step siblings, for sure. But I don't even think that that's that effed up. Or maybe I've just become desensitized. Is that? Now this is out on the internet and everybody knows and I cannot take it back. Maddie wants to know if I'm writing my own book. Yes, I am writing my own book actually. I've written about just over a third of it and I was so excited. I honestly never thought I was going to be the type of person who would ever sit down and write a book, but I'm doing it. And do you know what? I love it. I love writing so much. I'm having so much fun with it, but it's hard. It's really hard. I'm hoping to be done with it maybe in the next few months. My goal is to have the book completely finished and out by the end of the year if I can. That's my goal. And I can do it. I'm gonna do it. Watch me, watch this space. So the book is set in England because I am obsessed with England, so I had to set it in England. And it follows a young woman named April. She's about 30 years old. That's all I'm gonna say, apart from there might even be 2 other books coming in the same world. I don't know yet, I don't know, but that's enough, I think. That's all I can tell you for now. And is it going to be spicy? Obviously it's gonna be spicy. It's gotta be spicy, it's me. Okay, so Regina's asked me, which book got you hooked on spice? Mine was Anna Huang's Twisted Lies. Do you know what? Mine was actually A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J Maas. That was kind of at the time the spiciest book that I had ever read a couple of years ago. And I read about Cassian and Nesta and he said, hold on to the headboard. My life was never the same. My life was forever changed for the better. Okay, Mads wants to know, what does a perfect day look like for you? The perfect day is waking up and having no plans. Waking up and having no plans. It doesn't happen often, right? It doesn't happen often. You're either working, you've got social obligations. I don't know, it's just, my perfect day is beautiful weather, waking up, having no plans, going out for a coffee, little bit of shopping, doing some reading, I don't know, just fucking around and doing whatever it is you feel like is a perfect day for me. I don't think that there's anything in particular that would make a day perfect. Just feeling like you have all the time in the world to do whatever it is you feel like doing when you wake up on that day. So I hope that answered your question. Laura, do you DNF often? I actually do. I DNF a lot, but I don't talk about it very often because after starting to write a book, I can understand how difficult it is. I know how difficult it is. Unless I felt it was really quite bad, then I'll put it up as a DNF, but I don't normally talk about them. And usually, even if I do say that I've DNF'd a book, I don't really say why. A lot of the time it might just be because the writing style doesn't resonate with me, if that makes sense. So yes, I do DNF, but I don't like to talk about it because I still have a lot of respect for that author. Ella wants to know what my favorite wine is. Do you know what? I don't think I can answer that question. I don't know. I lie. I love nothing more than a big, buttery, oily, fuck off Chardonnay because I'm 80 years old. I love Chardonnay all day. Chardonnay all day. I need to put that on a t-shirt. Everyone's like, rosé all day? Nah, fuck off. Chardonnay is where it's at. A cancelled plan, a book and a Chardonnay. What? Maybe that's my perfect day. Do you work outside of the home? Yes, I do sometimes. Sometimes I'll take my work with me to my best friend's house, Emma, because she works from home a lot as well. So I call her house my office and I'll go and work from hers a few times a week. But apart from that, I'm usually just at home in this room doing my work. Okay, Emma would like to know, do you prefer reading on Kindle or physical books? I think I prefer reading on Kindle, but I prefer having physical books. Does that make sense? I feel like readers know. You guys will know what I mean. I find it easier to read on a Kindle because sometimes if you're reading a boo-tooty book, it's a little bit difficult to hold in your hands. Like if it's getting heavy on one side, you're kind of just like, ugh, I don't know. So my answer is I prefer reading on my Kindle. I find it easier to read on my Kindle, but I like having a physical copy. Do you know what I mean? Annotating's fun as well. I still like annotating and highlighting my favorite things. There's a time and a place for both of them. So I've got a question here. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm so sorry. It's Casoyre. I'm going to call you Cass. Let's do that. But you've asked me, how do you choose your books? I choose my books the same way you guys do. I have my favorite booktalkers, bookstagrammers, and I'll look at what they're reading, what they like, and I trust them and go with them. So the main accounts that I actually get my recommendations from are well, Sarah Madison, who's an author, me and her, we talk a lot about books. So she generally recommends books to me. Book Mummy Spice, her name's Marissa. She's so funny because she's so picky and I love it. So whenever I pick up a book she's recommended, I know it's going to be good. Shelby, you guys know Shelby. I love Shelby. She's Read with Shelby. I get my recommendations from her as well. She is one of the funniest influencers I've ever come across, and I love it. We're friends in real life as well, and I love her. So yeah, I mean, I choose my books the same way you guys do. Jess would like to know, what lipstick do you use? I get asked this question all the time. Let me get my lip products for you so I can show you. Okay, so my everyday lips consist of Soar Lip Liner by MAC. Cute, it's just nice and pink. That's fucking filthy, I'm sorry, how grotty. And then I use this little Charlotte Tilbury lipstick. So it's Wedding Bells. I feel like this was a limited edition. It's just that gorgeous color. So they're normally what I wear every single day. And then I like to top them with this Sweet Mouth lip gloss by Fenty. Hold on, I just want to get this sound. What does that sound? What does that sound like? Okay, so Amy has asked me, what was your job and life like before being a BookTok influencer? Do you miss it? Do I miss it? No. Not at all. I genuinely mean it when I say that these books changed my life. So I already told you guys that I had to stop working in my old job because I used to get really bad headaches. So I used to work as a personal assistant for an eye surgeon. And I loved it. I loved my job so much, but it was a lot. It was a lot. I loved it. I was good at it. I loved my boss. I loved him so much. But yeah, I had to stop working for him because my headaches got so bad. I just couldn't travel into the city every day. I was like pulling over on the freeway, vomiting, and so it was horrible. It was shit. I guess if I didn't go through that and feel the loss of my job and everything, which really messed with my identity and my mental health a lot because, I mean, my income, it took away my independence. I felt like I really lost who I was. This is depressing. Do I miss the job? No, because I love what I do now. This is my full-time job. I love it. I feel like I really fell into doing what I'm supposed to be doing, which is this. And now I'm writing. So if none of that ever happened, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I'm very thankful for that. Oh my God. Hope has asked, how do you deal with reading smut and getting turned on at inconvenient times? You know what? I've learned that if I get to a spicy scene in public, I just have to put my book away. When I'm out in public, it's like I can sort of switch my brain off. The only thing I'm conscious of is people seeing what I'm reading. Because, I mean, to me, it's just completely normal. And it is, it's completely normal. But I feel like I've kind of just been able to learn to switch it off and not care what anybody thinks. But I do sort of have to be careful that if I'm at a cafe and I've got my Kindle, because I read with pretty big fonts, my eyes are shit. If there's a child next to me, I better not have like a big, she was wet and had, you know what I mean, on the screen. How do I deal with reading smut and getting turned on at inconvenient times? You've just got to stop. If you get to the smutty scenes, you've either got to skip past them or you've got to stop reading. That's what I've learned. Kirsten's asked, have you ever made a partner recreate something you read in a book? Yes, that's all I'm gonna say. Yes, and it was nice. Okay, so Bree has asked me, did reading hardcore smut make you feel insecure in the beginning? Interesting question, because no, it didn't. I feel like it really brought me into my feminine kind of, without sounding like a knob, it really brought me into my femininity, and it kind of made me open my eyes up a little bit more and appreciate my body. I think women are amazing. I genuinely think women are the most beautiful creatures in the world. And I feel like reading hardcore smut has kind of just made me appreciate being a woman. I never used to wear lingerie or anything like that. And now I can't fit any more lingerie in my drawer. If anything, I think it made me feel a lot more secure in my body and with everything else. And I mean, everything else has benefited from it, if you know what I mean. Okay, so I've been asked the same question quite a number of times. People want to know, how do I read so many books? I just want to say that this is my full-time job. I don't think it's completely realistic to feel like you can have a full-time job and a life on top of that, plus reading time. I don't feel like it's extremely realistic to aim to read something like 15 or 20 books a month. It's a lot. And the only reason I can do that is because that's my 9-to-5 job. My job is to read. So other than that, I mean, before I started doing this full time, When I was having reading slumps, I was reading maybe 3 books a month. Okay, so on top of the question that I've just answered, somebody wanted to know if I have tips for beginners when it comes to reading and reading a lot of books. I suppose the best advice I can give you is don't push your friends away. They're still important. Everything else is important. Don't let other things in your life suffer just so that you can read a lot of books. Unless that's genuinely really what you want to do, fine, you know, do you. The best way that I was able to get a lot of reading in was not having my phone on me, because I'm so distracted by my phone. I think we all are. We live on our phones. I'm horrible with my phone. I'm attached to it because it's my job. I'm obsessed. It's really bad. I will admit it. I have a really unhealthy relationship with my phone. I think the best thing that you can do is leave it in another room. I think if you put your phone away, don't touch it, set aside, you know, 20, 30, 60 minutes to read every day. You'll read, you'll get it done. It is amazing how much you can fit in when you don't have that distraction. So that's probably my biggest tip. And yeah, just another thing, don't let anything else in your life suffer, because it's a balance. Okay, my battery is about to die, so I think that's all we have time for today. I think I'm going to split this into 2 and I'll do a part 2 because I've got some more really good questions here that I want to get to, and I want to talk more books with you guys. I'm so excited to get more of these videos up for you. This is so much fun. I hope that you're having an amazing weekend wherever you are in the world. I hope you're having a good one, and I look forward to speaking to you soon, you sexy bitches. Happy reading!